See you later.
Session is now called to order. The chair would like to ask everybody to please rise for the prayer. Since there is no designated member who will deliver the prayer, the chair would take it upon himself to deliver the prayer. In the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit, amen. O Lord, today we may feel the symptoms of inner peace. Infrequent attacks of smiling, frequent episodes of appreciation, loss of interest in judging other people, loss of ability to worry, tendency to act based on hope rather than feel, ability to enjoy each moment, susceptibility to give and receive love. If symptoms persist, O Lord, please don't let us call our doctor. Amen. Please remain standing for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we defer the calling of the roll, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
There is a motion to defer the calling of the roll of the members of the House of Representatives. Any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, considering that copies of the journal of the previous session have been distributed to members, I move that we dispense with the reading of the journal. The journal is started here, so we defer the approval of the said journal, just done yesterday.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is hereby approved. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we now proceed with the reference of business and request that the Secretary General be directed to read the titles of bills and resolutions on the first reading, as well as communications and committee reports. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. The Secretary General is hereby directed to read the reference of business.
Reference of business bills on first reading. House Bill number 4027, reverting the national government the discharge of basic agricultural functions and responsibility devolved to LGUs. Representative Garin Sharon.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill number 4028, increasing the penalty for lascivious conduct when the victim is under 12 years of age. Representative Liachon.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill number 4029, 4033, 4037, and 4053, converting roads in the province of Pangasinan and Negros Oriental into national roads. Representative Agabas and Teves Arnulfo.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill number 4034, declaring Barangay Malico in San Nicolas, Pangasinan an ecotourism zone. Representative Agabas.
To the Committee on Tourism.
House Bill number 4035 and 4036, establishing a national high school and an elementary school in Barangay San Vicente and Don Justos Abalos, Umingan, Pangasinan. Representative Agabas.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill number 4038, converting the satellite office of the LTO in Rosales, Pangasinan into a regular LTO district office. Representative Agapas.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill number 4039, creating an additional branch of the RTC in the 1st Judicial Region of Asingan, Pangasinan. Representative Agabas.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill number 4040, amending RA number 8972. Representative Hernandez.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws.
House Bill number 4041, providing for a Magna Carta for barangays. Representative Hernandez.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill number 4042, postponing the May 2020 Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections to May 2022. Representative Hernandez.
To the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms.
House Bill number 4043, penalizing prank callers to emergency hotlines. Representative Hernandez.
To the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
House Bill number 4044, replacing travel tax with standardized tourist fees for all, establishing a tourism development fund, and repealing exemption provisions. Representative Herrera D.
To the Committee on Tourism.
House Bill number 4045, requiring the placement of automated external defibrillators and the creation of an emergency response team for medical emergencies for the purposes of a national AED program. Representative Herrera D.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill number 4046, converting the Bislig District Hospital in Bislig City, Surigao del Sur into a medical center to be known as Bislig City Medical Center, increasing its bed capacity from 50 to 500. Representative Pimentel.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill number 4047, changing the name of Camp General Emilio Aguinaldo into Camp General Antonio Luna. Representative Pimentel.
To the Committee on National Defense and Security.
House Bill number 4048 and 4050, prescribing a fixed term for the Chief of Staff of the AFP. Representative Pimentel.
To the Committee on National Defense and Security.
House Bill number 4049, upgrading the salary grade of public school teachers from salary grade 11 to salary grade 19. Representative Pimentel.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill number 4051, regulating the catching, sale, purchase, possession, transportation, importation, and exploitation of coral reef herbivorous fisheries in the Philippines. Representative Fortune.
To the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources.
House Bill number 4052, providing for the preservation, reforestation, afforestation, and sustainable development of mangrove forests in the Philippines. Representative Fortune.
To the Committee on Natural Resources.
House Bill number 4054, amending Title 4, Chapter 1, Articles 74, 75, 76, and 77 of RA number 8533. Representative Teves Arnulfo.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws.
House Bill number 4055, renewing for another 25 years the franchise granted to broadcast enterprises and affiliated media incorporated under RA number 8098. Representative Romualdo.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
House Bill number 4056, amending further Section 16 of Presidential Decree number 269 as amended. Representative Romualdo.
To the Committee on Energy.
House Bill number 4057, increasing the monthly social pension of senior citizens. Representative Lacson Noel.
To the Committee on Special Committee on Senior Citizens.
House Bill number 4058, declaring September 20 of every year a special non-working holiday in the province of Ilocos Norte to be known as Josefina Llanes Escoda Day. Representative Fariñas Ria, Fariñas Rudy Cesar.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill number 4059, mandating the labeling of alcoholic beverages. Representative Biason.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill number 4060, prohibiting the practice of scalping or the unauthorized buying and or selling of admission tickets outside authorized ticket booths, outlets, or places designated for the purpose. Representative Castelo.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill number 4061, mandating the submission of electronic copies of documents filed with private and public companies in order to limit and curb the excessive use of paper. Representative Castelo.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill number 4062, giving the President the power to declare or designate a successor in the unlikely event that the President, the Vice President, the Senate President, and the Speaker of the House die or become incapacitated to fill the role of President. Representative Castelo.
To the Committee on Constitutional Amendments.
House Bill number 4063, creating one family court and two branches of RTC in the 1st District of Zamboanga, Zibugay. Representative Palma.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill number 4064, separating the Education and Training Center School Extension in Barangay 16, Bacolod City, Negros Occidental, from the Education and Training Center schools and converting it into an independent elementary school to be known as Bacolod City Elementary School. Representative Gasitaya.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill number 4065, creating the Department of OFWs. Representative Salo.
From the to the Committee on Government Reorganization and the Committee on Overseas Workers Affairs.
House Bill number 4066, mandating the assignment of an agricultural technician in each LGU and enhancing the operational capabilities of technicians therefore. Representative De Los Santos.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill number 4067, amending RA number 10868. Representative De Los Santos.
To the Special Committee on Senior Citizens.
House Bill number 4068, institutionalizing the Mentor Me program for micro and small enterprises and classifying as organic employees of the DTI, the business counselors of the negosyo centers. Representative De Los Santos.
To the Committee on Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Development.
House Bill number 4069, mandating the Philippine Sports Commission to recognize esports. Representative De Los Santos.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Bill number 4070, providing for the compensation for stay-at-home housewives and homemakers. Representative De Los Santos.
To the Committee on Women and Gender Equality.
House Bill number 4071, establishing a Philippine Board on Organ Donation and Transplantation. Representative De Los Santos.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill number 4072, providing a socialized microfinancing program for micro enterprises, thereby promoting entrepreneurship. Representative De Los Santos.
To the Committee on Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Development.
House Bill number 4073, rationalizing the tax treatment of the PCSO. Representative De Los Santos.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill number 4074, synchronizing the opening of all classes in the primary and secondary levels in all schools in the Philippines. Representative Duavit.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill number 4075, providing the national energy policy and regulatory framework for the use of electronic vehicles and the establishment of electronic charging stations. Representative Bernos.
To the Committee on Energy.
House Bill number 4076, creating a municipality to be known as the Municipality of Andres Bernos in the province of Abra. Representative Bernos.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill number 4077 and 4078, dividing barangays Tayum and La Paz in the province of Abra into distinct and independent barangays. Representative Bernos.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill number 4079, providing for the creation of the Pangasinan River Control System covering the Pangasinan Province. Representative De Venecia.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill number 4080, declaring Mangawang, Pangasinan a tourist destination, providing for its development. Representative De Venecia.
To the Committee on Tourism.
House Bill number 4081, promoting integrated urban agricultural development in all cities and metropolitan areas nationwide to address food security concerns. Representative De Venecia.
To the Special Committee on Food Security.
House Bill number 4082, establishing a national program for the cacao industry. Representative Espino.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill number 4083, providing for the Magna Carta for barangays. Representative Torres Gomez.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill number 4084, creating the National Academy of Sports for high school students in Ormoc City, Leyte. Representative Torres Gomez.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture, and the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Bill number 4085, amending Section 450 of RA number 7160, Representative Marquez.
To the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill number 4086, amending Commonwealth Act number 146, Representative Tambunting.
to the Committee on Economic Affairs,
House Bill number 4087, repealing the automatic appropriation for debt service by amending Section 31 of Presidential Decree number 1177 and Section 26, Chapter 4, Book 6 of Executive Order number 292, Representative Gaite, Zarate, and Cullama.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
House Bill number 4088, reclassifying the Mangabul Reservation in Bayambang, Pangasinan into alienable and disposable land for the public domain. Representative Arenas.
to the Committee on Natural Resources,
House Bill number 4089, providing for the protection, security, and benefits of whistleblowers. Representative Arenas.
to the Committee on Justice,
House Bill number 4090, increasing the bed capacity of Quirino Memorial Medical Center from 500 beds to 1,000 beds. Representative Belmonte.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill number 4091, increasing the authorized campaign expenditures of candidates and political parties and defining an independent candidate. Representative Silverio.
to the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms,
House Bill number 4092, prohibiting discrimination against persons, especially the poor and the PWDs, with respect to their access to government offices nationwide on the basis of dress code, clothing, or appearance. Representative Ong Ronnie.
to the Committee on Human Rights,
House Bill number 4093, establishing a free annual medical checkup for Filipinos. Representative Defensor Michael.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill number 4094, granting exemption of maintenance medicine from value-added tax. Representative Defensor Michael.
to the Committee on Ways and Means,
House Bill number 4095, standardizing assessment in the health facilities, enhancing program in all government hospitals. Representative Defensor Michael.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill number 4096, regularizing barangay health workers and providing salaries thereof. Representative Defensor Michael.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill number 4097, rationalizing the economic regulation of water utilities, creating the Water Regulatory Commission. Representative Haresco.
to the Committee on Government Reorganization and the Committee on Public Works and Highways,
House Bill number 4098, creating the Department of Water Resources. Representative Haresco.
to the Committee on Government Reorganization and the Committee on Public Works and Highways,
House Bill number 4099, instituting inclusive education, establishing inclusive education learning resource centers for children and youth with special needs in all public schools divisions, providing for standards and guidelines. Representative Fortune.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill number 4100, declaring the month of May of every year as the Marine Turtle Awareness Month. Representative Hataman and Sangkopan.
to the Committee on Natural Resources,
Resolutions. House Resolution 244, directing the appropriate committee to conduct an inquiry in the incident involving a transgender woman for alleged discrimination she went through in Farmers Plaza Mall in Quezon City. Representative Suntay.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 245, urging the House to express their support to the unity statement of the youth in their call no to martial law in schools. Representative Ilago.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 246, directing the appropriate House committee to conduct an investigation on the allegations and controversies relating to the PhilHealth and to perform a holistic review of the agency's functions and transactions. Representative Herrera D.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 247, directing the Committee on Natural Resources to conduct an inquiry on the status of Manila Bay rehabilitation and the cleanup of water tributaries leading to it, as ordered by President Rodrigo R. Duterte and by the continuing mandamus of the Supreme Court, Representative Berzaga.
To the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 248, directing the Committee on Natural Resources to conduct an investigation into the illegal wildlife trade in the Philippines and review of relevant existing laws, Representative Berzaga.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 249, urging the House Committee on Appropriations to conduct an inquiry on the delayed irrigation contracts of the NIA, Representative Villafuerte.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 250, directing the appropriate House Committee on the unabated influx of Chinese nationals in the Philippines and related issues on Philippine labor laws, national security, and national sovereignty, Representative Escudero.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 251, expressing its profound sense of loss for the passing of former Environment Secretary Gina Lopez, Representative Castelo.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 252, calling for an inquiry to improve maritime safety in the Philippines, Representative De Los Santos.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 253, calling for an inquiry to curb the proliferation of counterfeit medicines, Representative De Los Santos.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 254, directing the Committee on National Defense and Security to conduct and investigate on the implications of island development plans of the Fuga, Grande, and Chiquita Islands by foreign entities and its possible threats to national security, Representative Zarate.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 255, condoling with the family of philanthropist, staunch environmentalist, and anti-mining advocate, the late Regina Paz L. Lopez, Representative Marquez.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 256, directing the Committee on Disaster Management to review the extent of disaster risk reduction and management education, especially in schools nationwide, with the end view of producing Filipinos with adequate life-saving and disaster survival and management skills and promoting patriotism, discipline, and involvement among the youth. Representative Ong Ronnie.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 257, calling for an investigation by the Committee on Basic Education and Culture of the House on the failure of the DepEd to effectively and fully implement its programs related to textbook and other learning materials and the basic education facilities and as found by the 2018 COA Observation Report of the Department. Representative Abante, Garin-Janet, Zarate, Belmonte, Singson, Kimbo, Castro Franz, Bordado, Kabatbat, Brosas, Dagook, Ilago, Fortune, Gaite, Guya, Saulug, Umali, Maria Victoria.
to the Committee on Rules,
Communications. Letters dated July 31, 2019, August 7, and August 8, 2019 of Salvador C. Medeldea, Executive Secretary, Office of the President, Malacanang, transmitting 2 original copies each of Republic Acts which were signed by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
to the Archives,
Subpoena Judice Tecum, pursuant to Section 151 and 153, Rule 13 of the Rules of the House of Representatives, transmitting Subpoena Judice Tecum issued by Maria Melinda S. Henson, Director, OMB Luzon, Field Investigation Bureau, regarding FF-C-14-0495, FF-C-15-0128, 20132, directing Evelyn De Jesus, Director 2, Human Resource Management Service, House of Representatives, the submission of certified true and clear copies of the oath, office, appointment papers, personal data sheet, service records, and position description forms of the following House employees. Additional reference of business bills on first reading. House Bill number 4228, an act appropriating funds for the operation of the government of the Republic of the Philippines from January 1 to December 31, 2020, and for other purposes. Representative Ungab, Cayetano Alan Peter Compañero, Romualdez Ferdinand, Ermita Buhain, Salceda, et al.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Committee report. Report of the Committee on Economic Affairs and the Committee on Trade and Industry. Committee report number 3 on House Bill number 300.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move we call the roll. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
The Secretary General is hereby instructed to call the roll of the members of the House of Representatives.
Roll call of members. Honorable Representatives. Abante. Abaya. Abellanosa. Abu. Abueg Zaldivar. Abunda.
So, wag muna.
Ako.
Babasahin lang muna.
Acosta. Acosta Alba. Adjong. Advincula. Agabas. Agaraw. Aglipay. Aguinaldo. Albano Antonio. Albano Rodolfo. Almario. Alonte. Alvarez Franz. Alvarez Senaro. Alvarez Pantaleon. Amante Matba. Amatong. Andaya. Angara. Aragones. Arbison. Arenas. Arroyo. Atienza. Amintado. Babasa. Bagatsing. Balindong. Barba. Barbers. Baronda. Berzaga. Baskug. Bautista. Bautista Bendigan. Belmonte. Benitez. Bernos. Biason. Billones. Biron. Bolilla. Bondok. Bordado. Bravo. Brosas. Bulot. Bustos. Kabatbat. Kabutyan. Cabredo. Cagas. Calderon. Calixto. Caminero. Campos. Canama. Kawagdan. Cari. Castelo. Castro Franz. Castro Fedinil. Cayetano Alan Peter Compañero. Cayetano Mariela Arni. Celeste. Chato. Chipeco. Chunglao. Co Angelica. Co Elizaldi. Cuanco. Colyantes. Crisologo. Cuwa. Cuaresma. Cueva. Culyamat. Dagook. Dalipe. Dalog. Daza. De Jesus. De Venecia. Defensor Lawrence. Defensor Michael. Del Mar. De Los Santos. De Los Montalia. De Maporo Abdullah. De Maporo Muhammad Khalid. Duavit. Duhali. Duterte. D. Faustino Ino. D. Faustino Michael III. D. Ian Paul. Ebcas. Ecleo. Elago. Enverga. Erice. Erigel. Ermita Buhain. Escudero. Espina. Espino. Estrella. Farinas Ria. Farinas Rudy Caesar. Fernandez. Fernando. Fer Juliet. Fer Luis. Flores. Pongwan. Fortun. Fortuno. Frasco. Fuentebella. Gaite. Garbin. Garcia Jose Enrique. Garcia Pablo Jan. Garcia Vincent. Garin Janet. Garin Sharon. Gasetaya. Gatchelian. Gato. Heron. Go Ed Christopher. Go Mark. Gonzaga. Gonzales Aurelio. Gonzales Neptali. Gonzales Carlo. Goroseta. Guico. Gullas. Guya. Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera D, Hofer, Halushos, Javier, Jimenez, Ko Elisa, Ko Wilton, Kong Hun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Lara, Lazatin, Liachon, Ligarda, Lim, Lim Kaichong, Lopez, Loyola, Macapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Mangawang, Magundadato, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Matba, Matugas, Mendoza, Momo, Natividad Nagaño, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Juan Fidel, Nolasco, Nunez Malanyaon, Ominal Olivares, Ong Jose, Ong Ronnie, Ortega Pablo, Uwano Dizon, Pacquiao, Alberto Pacquiao Rogelio, Padiernos, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panotes, Peña, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Puno, Kimbo, Radaza, Ramirez Ato, Ramos, Rimulya, Villa, Reyes, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand, Romualdez Yadamarie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Sanchez, Sancopan, Santos Recto, Sarmento, Saulug, Savillano, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Singson Mihan, Sinsuat, Swansing Estrelita, Swansing Horacio, Suarez Aleta, Suarez David, Suntay, C. Alvarado, Taduran, Talyado, Tambunting, Tan Alisa, Tan Angelina, Tan Shamir, Tan Shari, Tan Tambut, Tihada, Teves Arnulfo, Teves Jose, Tiangco, Tolentino, Torres Gomez, Tulfo, Tupas, Chutor, T. Umali Alfonso, Umali Maria Victoria, Unabia, Ungab, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Vergara, Villa, Villafuerte, Villanueva Brother Eddie, Villanueva Noel, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Violago, Yap Eric, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo, Zamora Waikorat, Zarate, Zubiri. The speakers present. Mr. Speaker, the roll call shows that 242 members responded to the call.
With 242 members present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. The Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the guests of our Deputy Majority Floor Leader from the 2nd District of Pampanga, the Honorable Juan Miguel Macapagal Arroyo. They are the guests from the Brigham Young University, Hawaii, Inactus team, which recently won the 2019 USA National Championship for their Rise Up Farmers social enterprise in Lubao, Pampanga, and Davao City for empowering farmers using agricultural innovations. Namely, they are Elvin Jerome Laceda, the founder and the CEO, L.A. Clark, James Astle, Juna Magno, Charlene Lee, Zenos Thorson, Addison Hellum, with their Professor Paul James Rogers.
The distinguished guest of Honorable Congressman Mikey Arroyo is hereby welcomed here in Congress. Welcome. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the guest of our Deputy Speaker, the representative from CBAC Party List, the Honorable Eduardo Brother Eddie C. Villanueva. They are the leaders, members, and support organization of the CBAC Party List nationwide. They are the guests of our Brother Eddie C. Villanueva, representative of the CBAC Party List.
Welcome to Congress, all the guests of Congressman Brother Eddie Villanueva, the peacemaker of the House of Representatives. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the gentleman from CBAC Party List, our Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Deputy Speaker Eduardo, Brother Eddie Villanueva, be recognized on a question of privilege.
The Honorable Peacemaker of the House, Deputy Speaker Brother Eddie Villanueva is hereby recognized. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, distinguished colleagues. I stand today on behalf of all nation-loving Filipinos who have been very vocal regarding an issue that has recently created a polarizing event in our country. The August 13 incident that involved Gretchen Custodio Diaz, Kyra Ganal, and the management of Farmers Plaza. Surely, we have heard and read differing views about this on television, radio, newspapers, social media, and other platforms. As much as free market of ideas is a key component in a democratic country such as ours, it will be for naught if the ideas are not channeled to the proper venue. And that's why I'm here, dear colleagues, to bring the matter to the careful scrutiny of the distinguished members of this august chamber, the House of Representatives of the Philippines, with the sincerest hopes that we will handle this matter not on our political colors, not on personal agenda, but based on what is best for the majority, if not all, of our fellow Filipinos. For what started as an altercation at the ladies' toilet inside a mall has become a full-blown tug-of-war rights between the members of the lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders community and that of women, and has put sexual orientation or gender identity or expression, SOGI, bill anew at the center of public attention. In fact, the past few days saw renewed calls for bill's proponents, sorry to say, to railroad its passage in Congress. This, my dear colleagues, must not be allowed. For now, more than ever, the public wants to get involved in our decision-making. They want information. They want their questions answered. Why? Because the incident at the Farmers Plaza just gave them, all of us, a first taste of how a SOGI law will affect our lives. It has given us an actual scenario of what life can be if such a law would exist, bringing us all to seriously consider whether we as a nation are willing to accept, hook, line, and sinker, the philosophy, proposition, and penal nature of SOGI bill. Before I continue, Mr. Speaker, I would like to put on record that CBAC Party List, or Citizens Battle Against Corruption, and this representation are 100% in support of protecting human rights of our fellow Filipinos in LGBT community. And by no means we will allow them to be hated, discriminated, bullied, harassed, devalued, dehumanized, or be inflicted with any kind of harm, just like how we are also committed to do the same for the rest of this country's citizenry. For human rights are fundamental. This truth is beyond debate. Equality and the preservation of human rights is a mission I have long been fighting for. Back in the day when I was still a radical activist who was ready to fight to the death for the sake of the oppressed and marginalized. But when I came to know the Lord Jesus Christ, who taught me both the compassion to care for and the boldness to fight for the needy up to now, when I am already a lawmaker who, like you, bears the mandate of the Filipino people to push for legislation that promotes the greater good of our society. In the same vein, I also believe that the practice and protection of one's rights should never be above another's. For this reason, Mr. Speaker, let it be put to record that this representation is in opposition to SOGA bill. With due respect to my friends from LGBT, I just want to emphasize that I cannot help invoking my principles and conviction that let it be recorded that this representation is in opposition to SOGA bill. That is its current form and provisions, which I believe will not promote equality, but will instead unduly give special rights to some members of our society at the expense of the rights of other members and to the detriment of the social order in our community. I have here a long list of issues that I would like to raise and be clarified. However, I will limit this speech to the major reasons why I oppose the passage of this bill based on my examination of 13 SOGA bills that have thus been filed as of August 22, 2019. First, it undermines the role of parents in the family. One of our state policies is that of the state recognizing the sanctity of family life and protecting and strengthening the family as a basic, autonomous social institution. Article 2, Section 12, 1987 Philippine Constitution. Parents are the foundation of a family. We are our children's chief guardians, guiding them as they navigate through life. This role is all-encompassing and should naturally involve all matters involving our children, including their questions about their gender identity. Yet I noticed that out of 13 bills I reviewed, only 3 will give the parents the full rights to do so. In 10 of the bills, parents must secure a family court. Wow. Parents must secure a family court order should they want their children to undertake any medical or psychological examination in matters related to SOGI. Since when has it become our official policy to give the government more authority to decide for our children's lives and future, especially on an issue as sensitive as their identity? When they have questions or confusions, do we not, as a family, sit down with our children and try to talk things out? Do we not, as parent and child, try to find the answers together, whether it involves medical or psychological procedure or not? I just want to inform you, my beloved colleagues, there is a case in Canada, a Filipina mother who was crying before a bishop from the Philippines. And then the mother said, yung pong aking anak na minor, nag-aaral sa eskwelahan, tinanong ng teacher, ano ang sinasabi ba ng nanay mo, magulang mo, tungkol sa iyong gender? Eh sabi po, okay, lalaki at hindi babae. Ganun ba? Tinawag ng teacher ang 911 o counterpart ng 911, dumating ang mga pulis, kinuha yung anak. At sinabi dun sa ina, hindi, tandaan mo, mas mataas ang authority ng state kaysa sa magulang. Kaya wag mo ipagpilit ang gusto mo or else pwede kang makulong. Kaya kinuha yung bata. iyak ng iyak yung ina. You are no longer a parent, you are a guardian submitted to the authority of the state. This is so shocking to me. When I heard this from a certain bishop, a member of the coalition of Christian movement in the Philippines, I was really shocked. And I started researching. And as many people are being deceived because of the popularity of a certain issue, sometimes we are allowing ourselves, wittingly or unwittingly, being hooked by a certain popular issue. But the Bible says, my people are being destroyed for lack of knowledge. Now, if SOGI bill passes into law, these too shall be regulated. Second reason, it threatens academic freedom. Freedom shall be enjoyed in all institutions of higher learning. Article 14, Section 5, Paragraph 2, 1987 Philippine Constitution. Educational institutions espouse practices and rules that are consistent with their school philosophies and principles. However, 13 out of 13 SOGI bills in the House of Representatives, with due respect to the authors, prohibit such institutions to deny educational access to a student based only on his or her SOGI. This brings to mind some questions. Number one, what if an all-boys school refuses a trans man? Despite having exemplary grades, the trans man is disqualified only because she is still genetically a woman and is deemed unfit to join the school. What if a Catholic school expels a trans woman who insists on cross-dressing in school despite getting a ton of warnings? Will the purported law require above educational institution to adjust their policies accordingly, thus forcing them to go against the very principles on which their institutions have been established? Third, it imperils freedom of speech and religion. Passing SOGI bill is contrary to the principles of freedom of speech and freedom of religion, as any speech or belief that is deemed discriminatory by the members of LGBT community may hold a person criminally liable. 8 out of 13 bills I have examined propose penalizing any form of public speech that is deemed discriminatory to the LGBT community. The remaining 5 provide exemption for religious speeches, that is, speeches made during church services and other related activities, but never outside the church. That religious freedom is absolutely prohibited. While this is a welcome addition to a former version of SOGI bill, there still seems to be a loophole. What happens when a pastor or a priest or even an ordinary Christian expresses his or her Bible-based belief on gender outside any church-related activity? Penalizing the person will clearly be a violation of Article 3, Section 5 of 1987 Constitution. And I quote, "No law shall be made respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise therefore. A free exercise and enjoyment of religious profession and worship without discrimination or preference shall forever be allowed." Unquote, according to the so-called Philippine Constitution, Article 3, Section 5. What happens to a Christian like me and to the majority of the people in this august chamber if we are to be threatened by punishment every time we share our Bible-based beliefs on matters of transgenders and homosexuals? Mr. Speaker, we respect the lives they choose to live, but to make us conform to their lifestyle with the threat of punishment under our necks if we do not, is in itself a violation of our own rights. Fourth, my final point, it puts into question the very foundation of our laws. Mr. Speaker and beloved fellow legislators, we have been tirelessly crafting policies based on principles that everyone must be treated equal. All fundamental rights of a person, regardless of his or her ethnicity, social class, religious affiliation, or gender identity, are already enshrined in our existing laws. Violation of such rights will be penalized accordingly. To enact another law that upholds one sector's perceived rights over the rights of other people who do not belong to that sector is simply unfair, isn't it? In fact, equally discriminatory. It will be a law of preferential rights, a class legislation. I repeat, for the understanding of everyone, especially our beloved countrymen, this would be a class legislation. A person may be considered guilty based on the feelings of the aggrieved party. From you are innocent until proven guilty, it becomes you are guilty because I feel you are guilty. Wow. The very Constitution we have says an accused is assumed to be innocent until proven otherwise. But in this law, once implemented, beloved, this will be a class legislation. It will change the spirit of the Constitution. It will become, and I quote, you are guilty because I feel you are guilty. Take, for instance, the incident that happened at Farmers Plaza. It started when a transgender tried to enforce his perceived right over the rights of the woman in the ladies' toilet, a place provided exclusively for women. Yet on hearings and interviews regarding the incident, the woman involved has been markedly absent. Her side of the story given little, if any, attention. The woman in the story who was just doing her job for the sake of other women present in that place exclusively for women. That is precisely why, Mr. Speaker, we filed House Resolution 270 yesterday, 27th of August, calling for an inquiry in aid of legislation of the Farmers Plaza Mall incident with particular attention to get the side of the janitress, whose side has not yet been comprehensively heard during the coverage of the incident. We also included in our call for inquiry other janitress present during the dispute, Hani Leia Joy Balili, the security guard who responded to the scene, Maria Jane Mauro, and a representative of the said mall, to guarantee impartiality and objectiveness in this issue. Hearing all sides of the story is a must. If any crime indeed took place that day, let the aggrieved party file for a lawsuit. It is up to the court to try the case and decide on accused conviction or non-conviction. But that incident must never be a basis to railroad the passage of SOGO bill. But it should be used, let it be our Exhibit A of what SOGI law would mean to our society. Mr. Speaker, I will reserve my detailed objections, questions, oppositions, concerns, and apprehensions concerning SOGI bill in the proper committee hearing to be called for this purpose. But right now, I serve notice that while I shall endeavor to understand where our LGBT friends are coming from, what it is that they are really asking for, I stand here today on behalf of everyone who opposes the passage of the bill. I do not deny the discriminations against LGBT community exist. Again, just like discriminations in other sectors exist. However, I see the bill as loaded with legal infirmities and as settling questions on social acceptability and feasibility of implementation that I cannot just let it pass through discussion on what it seeks to address. I discovered with some information from different countries, sorry to say, with due apology to all concerned, the template from Western countries were just copied substantially just to enforce this LGBT bill in our own country. I hope that the authors will be amenable at the proper time to converse with the members of this chamber with the end view of coming up with something that will genuinely address the decried discrimination of LGBT community without sacrificing the rights of others. At the end, as I end, let me remind my fellow legislators that we are accountable not just to the Filipino people, but to our Almighty God as enshrined in the very preamble of our 1987 Philippine Constitution. And I quote, "We, the sovereign Filipino people, imploring the aid of Almighty God, in order to build a just and human society and establish a government that shall embody our ideals and aspirations, promote the common good, conserve and develop our patrimony, and secure to ourselves and our posterity the blessings of independence and democracy under the rule of law and a regime of truth, justice, freedom, love, equality," I repeat, equality, and peace do ordain and promulgate this Constitution, unquote. Freedom from discrimination is a worthy pursuit, but in pursuing such, no sector must consequently be discriminated. Again, most of all, our Almighty God must never be out of the question. Once again, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, dear colleagues. God best blessings be upon us all. God bless the Philippines.
Thank you Deputy
Mr.
Speaker, Brother Eddie Villanueva, Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Speaker, move to suspend sessions.
Session suspended.
Onyx gonna do it.
First line is second line no mention. Third line
Session resumed. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Minority Leader for his manifestation.
Mr. Speaker,
The Honorable Minority Leader, the idol of Manila, is hereby recognized.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to make it clear with the many audience in the gallery. They might be wondering why we will not be allowed to ask questions. So I would like to make this manifestation that there is a rule that whenever there is a bill already filed, that there should not be any interpolation. So, in order to make this very orderly, I just would like to make my own manifestation in support of the privileged speech of Deputy Speaker Brother Eddie Villanueva. Now, why? There are two sides of the coin, Mr. Speaker. And this is this. There is a big difference between being discriminating and being discriminatory. May I explain what I'm trying to say? I am discriminating in my choice of food, in my choice of clothes, in my choice of standards, in my choice of friends. But, may I say this, I will never be discriminatory to any that would like to say what he wants to say or do what he wants to do. Now, I believe that this speech is not discriminatory to the LGBT+. No, it is not. It is just standing on what the man who made the privileged speech in his own conviction. So, Mr. Speaker, since there's already a bill pending, perhaps when the time comes that in the plenary that interpolation would be asked, that will be the time in which we could be able to really deliberate on the bill, Mr. Speaker. But I would like to say this, that we live in a democratic country, that all of us have the right to say what we want to say, the right to believe what we want to believe, the right to do what we want to do, and nobody can be forced to do something that he does not like. So, Mr. Speaker, that is the only manifestation I would like to make, and thank you very much.
The manifestations of the Honorable Minority Floor Leader is hereby noted. Mr. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of the Honorable Eddie Villanueva to the
Committee of Rules.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Roman from Bataan.
Yes, the distinguished Congresswoman Roman from Bataan, the distinguished lady from Bataan is hereby recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat, lalong-lalo na po sa mga guests natin sa mga galleries. On behalf of the authors of the bill that was discussed during the privileged speech of our esteemed colleague, Brother Eddie Villanueva, I would just like to assure everyone that here in the House of Representatives, as we have been accustomed to do, we always listen to all sides concerned. Ika nga, sa layman's terms, we always look for a win-win solution that will be respectful of the rights of everyone. My request at this point, because it is still early, is that we all read the bill. Let us not be carried away by extrapolations, nor by fear, nor by very far away scenarios from other countries, but rather focus on the essence and the objective of the bill, which is simply to afford fellow Filipinos the same rights when it comes to work, to study, to receive services from the government, and to access commercial and public establishments, not to be insulted in the streets. And these fellow Filipinos just happen to be members of the LGBT community. As I said last year, remember this, alam yan ng aking ginagalang na colleague, Representative Lito Villanueva, we are your brothers, we are your sisters, we are your friends and neighbors, we are your workmates, we are your textmates, we are your Twitter and Facebook buddies. So there is nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear, but everything to look forward to in a society that welcomes everyone, even people coming from the minority that is known as the LGBT community. And I can say that I am proudly a member of this community, and I look forward to working with Brother Eddie Villanueva and the other so-called opponents of this bill, trying to look for a solution that will be respectful to all. This is how we work in the House of Representatives, and I want to assure all of you that your voices will be heard in these venerable halls. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The remarks of the distinguished lady from Bataan is hereby noted. The Majority Floor Leader.
Last to give a manifestation would be the Honorable Lito Atienza from Buhay Party List.
Thank you,
The
Mr. Majority
distinguished
Leader.
gentleman from Buhay Party List.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Atienza is hereby
My manifestation is very short. The statements made by the Honorable Congressman Eddie Villanueva is very timely. We at Buhay Party List support 100% whatever our congressman says. Thank you.
Again, the manifestation of the gentleman from Party List and Manila is hereby noted. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of the Honorable Villanueva, including we will attach the specific manifestations of the Honorable Roman and the Honorable Atienza to the Rules Committee. I so move, Mr. Speaker, including the manifestation of the distinguished Minority Floor Leader, Benny Abante. Again, I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is hereby approved. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, with leave of the House, I move that we open the privilege hour. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is hereby approved.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, may we recognize from the 1st District of Cagayan, the Honorable Representative Ramon Nolasco.
The distinguished gentleman from the 1st District of Cagayan, Honorable Nolasco, is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, and my colleagues in this August chamber, a pleasant evening to all. Scholars in etymology hold that the name of our province, Cagayan, came from a word with several variants, like Kahayan, Kayayan, Kalayan, and Karayan, but which all mean just one, river. Like in ancient civilizations, the river in Cagayan plays a vital role that authorities aptly named the province after it. We, the people whose lives and livelihood pivot on that mighty river, are therefore the people of the river, the people of Cagayan. It is this same river that lends its name not only to our province, but to the entire valley that constitutes the second administrative region. It is the corridor that links our provinces, unites our people, waters the soil of our land, and makes our harvests rich. Cagayan River used to teem with aquatic resources, fish, clams, and sedentary species that allowed our people to live by the bounty of the river. It flows from the highlands of Nueva Vizcaya and Quirino in the Caraballo mountain range and makes its majestic way to what is known as the Boca, that point at which the fresh water of the Cagayan River meets the salt water of the Babuyan Sea. But this mighty river, this artery of fertility and bounty, this lifeline of our people, faces a mortal threat. And once more, human greed, official ineptitude, and the colluding of the avaricious and the powerful are the culprits. I rise today in defense not only of the district that I represent, but of the whole of Cagayan Valley, and more importantly, the interest of the generations yet unborn. For some time now, Cagayanos living along the shoreline of northern Cagayan have observed the presence of strange maritime vessels with obviously foreign markings, not only looming over the horizon, but even making their way down the Cagayan River. Clearly, if they were surprised by the presence of these vessels, they were never consulted about what have turned out to be activities threatening their lives and their livelihood, their environment. Once more, the fundamental rights of the simple folk were set aside in cavalier fashion, while the powerful and the might entered into deals of mutual profit without regard for the welfare of the voiceless and the powerless. The pretext that is given for several years now is the urgent need to dredge the Cagayan River. But several questions must be asked, crucial ones, and ones that a sense of social justice demand must be asked. Was there compliance with legal requirements? Were the people affected and the municipalities and the barangays consulted? And have the sentiments of those adversely affected by activities already commenced ever been heard? Dredging is sometimes resorted to in order to prevent sudden spillover of a river that brings about flooding and destructive torrent in random directions. It is beneficial to stabilize the course of a river in order to prevent erosion, improve bank vegetation, and ensure safety in navigation. However, the act of dredging, unless assiduously studied and carefully executed, is not at all harmless. A Philippine coastal zone has the following major ecosystems along shallow coastlines. First, estuaries and lagoons. Second, coastal wetlands including mangroves. Third, seagrass beds. And fourth, coral reefs. All of these resources will be ruined if unplanned dredging that wreaks havoc continues unabated. Dredging impacts negatively on the maritime environment, significantly affects water quality, including temperature, turbidity, and conductivity, to the detriment of maritime and aquatic life. Professors of the Cagayan State University, headed by its president, Dr. Orduha Alvaro Tejada, have dialogued with the village folk in the coastal towns of Cagayan, particularly in the municipalities of Santa Teresita and Gonzaga, and the cry of the helpless fisher folk living along the coastline is the same. The dredging boats have brought them only hardship and misery. Shorelines have decreased considerably, swallowed mercilessly by the onslaught of stronger currents and higher waves. The fish that were once in abundance have dwindled in number, and the life has become even more difficult than it has already been for them. Those are the very same reason why, in crucial activities like dredging, a major river system, balancing of interest between alleviation of the effects of natural calamities on one hand and the preservation of nature on the other is very important. This is where various government agencies tasked to craft and implement related laws must step in to help strike a proper balance between ecological development and environmental preservation. I am certain that when the President called for the dredging, among others, of the Cagayan River, what he had in mind was the positive impact of dredging the river system. But surely, he didn't mean to ignore or set aside the legal requirements that are meant as safeguard against the destructive effects of dredging, much less to sanction the activity to be abused and used as a conduit to conceal more destructive activities like black sand mining. What appears to have happened is that the order was given to proceed with the operations despite non-compliance with fundamental requirements. Department Order Number 139, dated June 28, 2016, of the Department of Public Works and Highways, in relation and which further bolstered by the Joint Memorandum Circular for dredging activities issued by the DPWH, DENR, DILG, and DOTR, lays down the requirements for contracts including those characterized or categorized as FMDRE, flood control, maintenance, dredging, desilting, river channeling, and excavation works, and HD, harbor dredging. Clearly, there should be prior surveys, soil investigation, environmental clearances, design and related plans, and other standard requirements before the DPWH could issue the necessary permit. In its resolution number 2019-9-007, the Provincial Board of Cagayan granted authority to the provincial governor in behalf of the provincial government to enter into a memorandum of agreement for the dredging of the Cagayan River. However, the authority that was granted was coupled with conditions as indicated in the committee report, like the submission and of the copy of the Memorandum of Agreement to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan for ratification. But again, the same condition was not complied with. On August 8, 2019, GMA published a report about a dredging vessel that had run aground in the town of Apari in Cagayan. In that same report, our Governor, Manuel Mamba, attempted to allay the fear of the residents about black sand mining by claiming that the Chinese and the Taiwanese were willing to dredge the Cagayan River for free as long as they get the dredged material. According to him, dadalhin nila sa Hong Kong because according to them, they will reclaim a part of the Hong Kong Bay to expand the Hong Kong airport. I respectfully insist, Mr. Speaker, that whether or not the Chinese or the Taiwanese offered dredging services for free is totally irrelevant in regard to compliance with the basic requirements of law. And there is no truth to the statement that there is no consideration for the dredging services because by Governor Mamba's own admission, the dredgers are entitled to the dredged material. In short, that will be taken to Hong Kong. By all accounts of law, this is a bilateral contract with mutual detriment on the side of both parties. Material dredged from the Cagayan River is part of the subsoil that by virtue of Article 1 of the 1987 Constitution is within the sovereignty of the Republic of the Philippines. By what authority can the exercise of the sovereign act of alienating part of the Philippine subsoil in exchange for dredging services be rendered valid? But this is not a new development. Already on February 26, 2014, the Philippine Star reported that 23 Chinese nationals were charged by the Department of Justice for having allegedly extracted black sand along the coastline of Apari. The regional state prosecutor found probable cause against 23 Chinese nationals and 3 Filipino accomplices. The accused were charged with violating the Mining Act of 1995. At that time, the Mining Industry Coordinating Council already recommended to Malacanang the suspension of all black sand mining operations in the country, citing the adverse effects of such activities to the lives of coastal communities and marine resources. But why does black sand mining enter into the picture? As I raise serious questions about what are supposed to be dredging activities. The answer is simple. Reports are in large numbers that dredging seems being fronted for black sand mining, and what is made to appear as a venture beneficial to the people of Cagayan is in fact a despoliation of their coastline and a depredation of the fragile ecosystem that sustains lives and livelihood. As early as 2013, media had already exposed this fraud. In a report published by the Philippine Star, Huasha Trading and Mining Corporation, Linxiang Philippines Curving Company Corporation, and Land Wealth Resources Incorporated had all been found to be extracting black sand. At that time, they supposedly had permits to dredge the coastlines and rivers in the northern towns of Cagayan. The Mines and Geosciences Bureau, Regional Office 2, not only pompously announced the end of black sand mining along the shorelines of Cagayan, impliedly admitting that there had been black sand mining operations in the first place. MGB also predicted that by the end of 2014, there would be no more traces of black sand mining operations in Cagayan. Sadly, that is not what has happened. Those are not the facts. That is just one more unkept promise. Meanwhile, the people of Cagayan has to suffer. I want to make my point clear. We are talking about black sand mining because allegedly the dredging of Cagayan River has been the pretext and cover for clandestine black sand mining operations. What is more disturbing, Mr. Speaker, are abundant reports that the permits issued earlier, both by Mines and Geosciences Bureau, as well as by the local government units, are used for sand mining operations, masquerading as dredging maneuvers. To have an idea of how much money has been involved, all that one has to do is to go to the website of Alibaba and to find out how much the selling price of magnetite identified as Philippine black sand is. This slide will give you an idea. I call for the action of this chamber. I ask that the matter of what is made to appear as dredging of the Cagayan River be investigated. I would like scientists, experts, social workers to tell us what the human cost of these operations have been and may still be. I would also like to be told why the people that thrive in the river were not consulted at all. Finally, where the law has been willfully bent, twisted and transgressed to enrich and to favor unduly, those responsible must be held to account for their actions. In the landmark case of Oposa versus Factoran, the Supreme Court, for the first time ever in the history of jurisprudence, discoursed on the doctrine of intergenerational responsibility, that aspect of social justice that pays heed to the rights of the generations yet unborn, insofar as the right to a healthful ecology and an environment preserved from depredation is concerned. When we address ourselves to this issue resolutely, we shall be acting equitably, not only for those who suffer in the present, but for those who will reap the harvest of misadventure, of recklessness, imprudence, and criminality in the future. Mr. Speaker, I plead for the present, but I appeal for the future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, my dear colleagues.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Ramon Nolasco be referred to the Rules Committee.
Any
Mr. Speaker,
objection?
the congressman
Majority Floor Leader.
from the city of Dasmariñas would like to make a manifestation insofar as the privileged speech of our colleague is concerned. A very short manifestation.
Congressman Barzaga is recognized.
Well, I would just like to inform our distinguished colleague coming from the province of Cagayan that this representation yesterday filed House Resolution number 267. And I read the caption of the resolution. Resolution directing the Committee on Natural Resources to conduct an investigation in aid of legislation, the incident of the dredging being carried out by Pacific Offshore Exploration Incorporated, whether or not the same is mining or dredging of Cagayan River. The potential of magnetite mining in our economic progress without compromising our responsibility to protect our rich natural resources, determine if there can be a balance between these two seemingly conflicting objectives, and a review of the existing laws relevant thereto. In short, Mr. Speaker, I join our colleague insofar as the issues raised in his privileged speech are concerned. And for the record, I am also giving a copy of House Resolution number 267 to our colleague coming from the province of Cagayan. That is just my manifestation. Thank you very much.
The manifestation of Congressman Barzaga is noted.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize Representative Carlos Zarate from Bayan Muna. So
Congressman Zarate is recognized.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Ako po ay magbibigay lamang ng isang manifestasyon. Pinagpupugayan po natin ang kinatawan ng Cagayan sa kanyang talumpati ngayong hapon at sinusuportahan din po natin ang kanyang mga panawagan. Dahil sa katotohanan, Ginoong Speaker, ang usapin na ito ng black sand mining or magnetite mining sa probinsya ng Cagayan at sa ibang bahagi ng ating bansa ay matagal na hong naging issue ng ating mga kababayan. Sa katunayan, sa 16th Congress, ang kinatawang ito po ay naghain din ng isang panukalang resolusyon upang imbestigahan ito. But apparently, despite a series of investigation conducted, ay hindi pa rin po natitigil itong mga illegal na pagmimina ng black sand in the guise of dredging. Kaya muli po, pinagpupugayan natin ang ating kasama mula sa Cagayan at sinusuportahan din po natin ang panukalang resolusyon ng ating kagalang-galang na kasama mula sa Cavite na ito ay maimbestigahan. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Speaker.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the manifestations of Representative Barzaga and Representative Zarate be referred, and the privileged speech of Representative Nolasco be referred to the Rules Committee, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize Representative Euphemia Kulamat from the party list Bayan Muna. I move, Mr. Speaker.
Congresswoman Euphemia Kulamat of Bayan Muna is recognized.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Ginoong Speaker, mga minahal na mga kapwa mambabatas, magandang gabi sa ating lahat. Noong Agosto 16, 2019, si Francisco Iko Pagayaman, 63 taon gulang, ang chairperson ng Kalipunan ng Damayang Mahihirap o Kadamay ng Northern Mindanao, nakatira sa Barangay Carmen, Cagayan de Oro City, ay hinaras at sa pilitang kinapkapan ng dalawang kanilang membro ng 1st Forces Battalion ng Philippine Army. Ang dalawang militar na ito, Ginoong Speaker, ay hindi nagpakilala o nagsabi kung bakit nila kinapkapan ang leader ng Kadamay o kung bakit nila sinisiyasat ang kanyang tahanan o kinunan din nila ng larawan ang kanyang bahay. Ginoong Speaker, ito ay isang tahasang paglabag sa kanyang karapatang pantao. Si Iko ay isang matagal na human rights defenders na walang pagod na lumalaban sa pagtatanggol para sa karapatang pantao. Ginoong Speaker, samantala noong August 23, 2009, si Bai Lia Tambalang, 45 taon, isang lumad na tiguhanon sa San Fernando, Bukidnon, ay walang awang pinagbabaril hanggang sa malagutan ng kanyang hininga sa bandang alas 3 ng hapon sa Valencia City, Bukidnon. Si Bailia ay may 7 na iwang mga anak, ay isang aktibong leader sa kaugalingong sistema ipapasindog tulumad ng ugpaan o kasilo, isang lumad na pisanting organisasyon sa probinsya ng Bukidnon. Isa rin siyang kasapi at organisador ng aming partido ang Bayan Muna Party List. Bilang leader lumad sa kanilang pamayanan, nanguna siya sa pakikipaglaban para sa kanilang mga karapatan, sa kanilang lupang ninono at karapatan sa sariling pagpapasya. Ginoong Speaker, si Lia na isa pang pang-14 na biktima ng extrajudicial killings o EJK sa Bukidnon ngayong taon. Walang awa siyang pinaslang matapos patayin din ang isa pang lumad na si Jeffrey Bayot noong Agosto 12. Kinundina namin, Ginoong Speaker, ang patuloy na pag-atake at harassment sa mga human rights defender, lumad leader, magsasaka at iba pang progresibong grupo. Ginoong Speaker, sa kalagitnaan ng budget hearing, hinahamon ko ang lahat ng mga mambabatas na nandito na dapat nating tilatising mabuti ang iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno, suriin kung nararapat ba sila sa pundong hinihingi nila mula sa buwis ng taong bayan. Dapat din nating imbestigahan kung sino at ano sa partikular ang nasa likod sa patuloy na pag-atake ng mga militar at grupong paramilitar sa ating mga maralitang Pilipino, lalo na ang mga lumad. Ginoong Speaker, mababakas natin na tumitindi ang mga pasistang atake laban sa mga sibilyan sa Hilagang Mindanao. Nangyari ang mga pagpatay na ito habang nagpapatuloy ang martial law sa Mindanao. Ginoong Speaker, hindi po ako natatakot na patuloy na tuligsain ang mga pangyayaring ito. Hindi po ako titigil sa pagpapahayag hinggil sa kung ano ang tunay na nangyayari sa aming mga sibilyan kasapi ng pambansang minorya. Hindi po ako titigil sa pagtatambol sa panawagang hustisya para sa mga biktima sa paglabag sa karapatang pantao at hustisya para sa mga biktima ng batas militar sa Mindanao. Muli, Ginoong Speaker, ang aming panawagan, itigil na ang karahasan at pasistang atake laban sa mga pambansang minorya at mga pisante. Higit sa lahat, itigil na ang martial law sa Mindanao. Ito lamang po, Ginoong Speaker. Maraming salamat at magandang gabi ulit sa ating lahat.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Kulyamat be referred to the Committee on Rules.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, the next member who wishes to avail of the privilege hour is the lady from Kabataan, and so I move that Representative Sarah Jane Elago be recognized.
Rep. Sarah Jane Elago is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today on the matter of collective and personal privilege to declare, as a youth representative, our message to our colleagues here and to the Filipino people, that political persecution won't stop us from standing with the marginalized youth, standing for our future. Mr. Speaker, ang representasyon po na ito ay isa sa mga nakatanggap ng sabina kahapon, batay sa kidnapping case at iba pang mga gawa-gawang kaso. The fact alleged that Kabataan recruited minors, which is not true, as all the youth involved in the case are over 18 years old, to campaign for us during the 2019 elections. Mr. Speaker, even if such facts were proven, it would be clearly be covered by the Bill of Rights, our freedom of expression, freedom of association, and the right to participate in the elections. That's why we view this as plain harassment and are intended to intimidate and divide our ranks. We condemn these disgusting efforts of exploiting blatant lies to sideline dissent and persecute the opposition. This is another shameless attempt to sow terror among all those who exercise their political and civil rights, not only to be informed and struggle against abuse and tyranny, but also to initiate reforms and assert a better future. When our democratic rights are under attack, it becomes imperative to push back. Mariin din namin kinukundina, Mr. Speaker, ang pagpapakalat ng mga peking balita, mga peking statement, mga paninira, at lalo pang panlilinlang sa publiko sa pamamagitan ng mga hayagang pagbabahagi mismo ng mga opisyal na Facebook pages at Twitter accounts tungkol sa mga walang batayan na akusasyon na ito. Lahat ng ito laban ho sa aming representasyon. Ang representasyon na ito ay nagbigay na ng mga liham, malinaw na mensahe sa mga Facebook pages ng Philippine News Agency, ng AFP, ng PNP, na itigil na ang pagpapakalat ng mga kasinungalingan na ito at nanghihingi rin po tayo ng paliwanag kung bakit ba nila ginagawa ng ito. Nananawagan po tayo na kanilang pagsilbihan ang katotohanan dahil napakahalaga nito para sa pagtatanggol ng karapatan ng bawat isa sa atin. Nanawagan na rin, Mr. Speaker, ang representasyon na ito na dapat nang ibasura hindi lamang ang mga gawa-gawang kaso laban sa amin, kundi ang lahat ng mga gawa-gawang kaso laban sa mga tumitindig para sa kanilang mga posisyon bilang mga organization at pagpapahatid ng kanilang mga saloobin hinggil sa mga patakaran ng gobyerno dahil ito po ay kanilang napakahalaga na karapatan. Ang kasalukuyan pong kampanya na katulad na ito ay talagang nakakabahala dahil ito ay hindi bago at nagsilbi ng parte ng sistematiko na atake laban sa mga kabataan at estudyante. Ang kampanya na ito, Mr. Speaker, ay hindi naman upang pakinggan ang aming saloobin o kaya naman sagutin ang aming mga katanungan at ang aming mga hinaing. Malinaw na ito ay para lamang magpakalat ng mga maling impormasyon. The spread of lies, misogynistic and sexist attacks, and disinformation are systematically funded and thoroughly coordinated across platforms. Without even fact-checking, the PNA played a crucial role in the spread of all these lies. And to add, the AFP and the PNP have been conducting vilification campaigns in the guise of anti-drug and anti-terror operations. Mr. Speaker, kahapon lamang po, ang representasyon na ito ay nagtanong sa Department of National Defense kung kanila bang kilala yung mga organisasyon na kanilang binabalandra sa mga forum na ito, no, sa mga diskusyon na sinasagawa nila sa mga paaralan. For instance, Mr. Speaker, nagtanong po tayo, ano po ang inyong alam tungkol sa National Union of Students of the Philippines? Dahil po sinasabi nyo na ito ay nagiging bihikulo ng recruitment di umano, no, noong mga sumasama doon sa armed na resistance. Ngunit, ang naging sagot po sa atin ng kalihim ng DND, I don't know. Hindi po nila alam kung ano ang mga ipinaglalaban, hindi po nila alam kung ano ba ang historical background, ang mission, ang vision, ang profiles ng mga organizations na ito. Ngunit ang kanilang ginagawa ay naglalagay sa panganib sa lahat ng mga miyembro, sa lahat ng mga sumusuporta, sa layunin ng mga networks na katulad ng NUSP o National Union of Students of the Philippines, na isang unyon ng mga mag-aaral mula sa pampubliko at pampribadong higher education institutions na nagkakaisa para tumindig para sa karapatan sa edukasyon. Ang sinasabi po nila sila ay suporta para sa youth engagement at doon sa very active na youth participation, ngunit ganito ang ginagawa nila sa harap ng napakaraming mga kabataan ang gustong magpahayag, no, ng kanilang mga posisyon at gustong mag-ambag para sa pagbabago. Mr. Speaker, ang ganitong ginagawa po na sistematikong atake doon sa organisadong lakas ng mga kabataan ay isang mabagsik na kampanya upang patahimikin ang aming boses at nang sa gayon ay bigyan ng mensahe ang lahat ng oposisyon at kritiko na hindi titigil ang rehimen hanggat hindi tayo umaatras o hanggat hindi umaatras yung mga kabataan at mga estudyante na wala namang ginagawa, no, na beyond dun sa kanilang constitutionally guaranteed rights na magpahayag at palakasin ang kanilang boses. This is done, Mr. Speaker, not only through slander, but also, as I've said earlier, through filing of trump-up charges. That's why we reiterate from our youth representation our call to dismiss all trump-up charges against the opposition and critics. Ito po naman ay paulit-ulit na natangka, no, upang mapigilan at gipitin, no, sa paggamit ng aming mga karapatang sibil at lahat ng mga naglalakas loob, no, upang magparating ng kanilang mga hinaing. Dahil ang mga tangkang ito, Mr. Speaker, ay hindi upang maglinaw batay sa argumento at katotohanan, bagkus puro panluloko at kasinungalingan, ito rin ay paulit-ulit ring nabibigo at hindi kailanman magwawagi. Wala pong nananalo sa pamamagitan ng mga ganitong desperadong hakbang sa kasaysayan kapag gumamit ng mga ganitong baluktot ng mga pamamaraan, talo na yun agad. Samantalang ang inaatake ay nanalo na dahil sila ay nabibigyan ng mas maraming pagkakataon na magpaliwanag, mas maraming pagkakataon upang magbatay sa lakas ng kanilang pagkakaisa upang mapalakas pa ang kanilang boses. Mr. Speaker, ang representasyon na ito, mula pa man noong unang beses na tayo ay tumindig dito sa House of Representatives, ay nagsabi na ng ating commitment, no, para sa pagtatagumpay ng libreng pampublikong edukasyon, hindi lamang para gawing libre ang mga state universities and colleges, pero ang mas concern po natin, mas pataasin yung kalidad ng ating mga SUCs bilang mga research universities at makapag-ambag, no, sa pambansang pag-unlad. Hindi lang po yan. No, tayo po ay mariin na tumutol at nanawagan ng pag-imbestiga sa sumisirit na presyo ng mga bilihin Nandyan din ang pagtutol natin sa 100% foreign ownership na dulot ng panukalang charter change. Nandyan din ang paninindigan ng mga kabataan na protektahan ang kung ano ang sa atin sa pamamagitan ng paninindigan na atin ang Pinas, ang Pilipinas ay hindi natin ipinagbibili at kailangan natin protektahan ang yaman ng bansa para sa benefit ng mamamayang Pilipino. We were given more opportunities to discuss, enlighten, clarify, and further explain why we are being attacked because of our stance on issues. It cannot be denied that it has only left us stronger than ever. It has, in fact, catapulted our position as the voice of dissent, a voice that speaks up for what needs to be said, even if it puts us at a disadvantage. A voice that never turns a blind eye against abuse and tyranny. A voice of persistence despite all the odds. And amid the struggle, a voice of hope. It has showcased our leadership. As I have experienced going around the Philippines, Mr. Speaker, it's clear to our party list representation that the hope, the optimism, and the desire to take action are overwhelming. Worldwide, we are witnessing a wave in children and youth, from Malala Yousafzai to Joshua Wong and Greta Thunberg, adding their voices to make a difference, calling on all of us to act now to protect their future, our future. Whether it be on social media or to the streets, we are seeing more and more young people demanding change. Making a difference requires movement. Marami po sa atin dito, Mr. Speaker, nanggaling din mula sa pamumuno, sa eskwelahan, sa kanilang mga barangay, sa kanilang mga local government. At alam natin kung gaano kahalaga ang pagtutulungan, kung gaano kahalaga ang pagkakaisa upang tayo ay magtagumpay. Our leaders must pour in hard work and commitment in order to promote the full participation of the youth and student in nation building. Kahapon lamang, Mr. Speaker, atin pong nabalitaan na nagkaroon na pala ng paunang dialogo ang Philippine National Police kasama ang mga officials ng ating mga state universities and colleges na kasalukuyang may safety and security agreement, katulad ng University of the Philippines at ang PUP. At sinabi ko sa balita, Mr. Speaker, nakasama dito ang mga opisyal ng Board of Regents ng mga naturang SUCs. Ngunit ang pahayag, Mr. Speaker, ng kanilang student regent, hindi man lang po siya nasabihan na meron palang ganong dialogue. No? Ang mensahe po natin sa PNP, what better way to do it than to include the students in the conversation, to include the young people in the dialogue, and not sideline their voice. No? Isama po natin sila dun sa dialogo. No? Nothing about us without us. Yan po ang ating mensahe doon sa naganap na dialogo na yon. Sinasabi nila na para iyon sa mga kabataan, na para iyon sa mga estudyante. Pero bakit sa unang step pa lang, doon pa lang sa step 1 na mag-usap-usap ang mga stakeholders, hindi na po agad sinasama ang boses ng mga estudyante. That's why, Mr. Speaker, we strongly urge our colleagues here, our public servants, our leaders, to never allow themselves to become instruments of repression, to silence dissent and denial of truth. Instead, we must stand by our mandate with dedication and commitment and serve as instruments of empowerment for and with the people. Likewise, we reiterate our resounding call for the immediate dismissal of the trump-up charges to criminalize critical voices. We demand a safe space for the youth and the people to effectively debate, dialogue, and participate in nation building. Stop political persecution, stop disinformation, defend truth and justice, stop the attacks, fight tyranny. Hands off the youth, hands off our schools, defend our democratic rights. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Elago be referred to the Committee on Rules.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, there being no other member who has registered to avail of the privilege R, I move that we close the privilege R.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the change of referral of House Bill number 4228 from the Committee on Appropriations to the Committee on Rules.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we resume consideration of House Bill number 4157 as contained in Committee Report number 2, and that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the bill.
House Bill number 4157, an act amending section 4, 5, 20, 22, 27, 28, 34, 40, 50, 73, 112, 117, 204, 222, 237, 237A, 255, 256, 257, 258, 261, 263, 264, 266, 275, 290, 291, 292, and adding new sections 6A, 282A, 293, 294, 295, 296, 297, 298, 299, 300, 301, 302, 303, 304, 305, 306, 307, 308, 309, 310, 311, 312, 313, 314, 315, and 316, all under the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997, as amended and for other purposes.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the parliamentary status is that we are in the period of sponsorship and debate, and I move that we recognize to sponsor the measure the senior vice chairperson of the Committee on Ways and Means, Representative Estrelita Swansing.
Congresswoman Swansing is recognized for her sponsorship speech. For his interpellation.
The first member who wishes to interpellate our sponsor, Mr. Speaker, is the gentleman from Party List Bayan Muna, and I move that we recognize Representative Carlos Zarate.
Congressman Carlos Zarate is recognized for his interpellation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Speaker. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Mararapatin po ba ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor na sagutin ang ilan nating mga katanungan patungkol po sa panukalang batas 4157, Mr. Speaker?
Opo, Mr. Speaker.
Maraming salamat po. Panukalang batas, House Bill number 4157. Officially ho, ito ay tinatawag natin ngayong Corporate Income Tax and Incentives Rationalization Act or CITIRA. Tama po ba?
Tama po yun, Mr. Speaker.
Pero ito rin po yung panukalang batas nung nakaraang ika-17 Kongreso na tinawag naman nating Trabaho Bill. Tama po ba, Ginoong Speaker?
Tama po yun, Mr. Speaker.
Bago po ako pupunta doon sa mga katanungan ko sa mga nilalaman ng batas na ito, gusto ko lang pong linawin, for the record, bakit po ang sinasabi nating Trabaho Bill ay nawala na ho yung trabaho at tinatawag na natin ito ngayong CITIRA. Ano po bakit nawala po ang trabaho at CITIRA na po ang pangalan nito?
Mr. Speaker, dahil ang nilalaman po nito ay patungkol po sa pagbaba ng corporate income tax, yun po yung CIT, at yun pong incentive rationalization, ito po yung IRA. So, kaya po natin tinatawag na CITIRA.
So, hindi na ho ito nagkukunwari. No? Katulad ho nung nakaraang Kongreso, no, na ang sadya naman talaga ng panukalang batas ay pababain ang corporate income tax, pero yon ay tinawag na Trabaho Bill dahil daw ito ay magbibigay ng employment o trabaho sa ating mamamayan. Ngayon po talagang openly, ang batas na ito ay para talaga doon sa pagpapababa ng corporate income tax ng mga korporasyon mula 30% hanggang 20% sa loob ng 10 taon. Tama po ba, Ginoong Speaker, Madam Sponsor?
Tama po yun, Mr. Speaker.
Maraming salamat po. Ang sinasabi ng panukalang batas, kaya kailangan daw itong ipasa dahil ang Pilipinas ay isa sa may pinakamataas na corporate income tax sa buong ASEAN region. Pero ito naman din, ang Pilipinas din ang isa sa may pinakamababang tax collection efficiency. Tama po ba ang statement na ito, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Tama po yun, Mr. Speaker.
At ang naging katugunan nga itong panukalang batas na ito. Now, according to the Department of Finance and several hearings and presentations, as it is now, the government is losing a total of 441 billion, if I'm not mistaken, dahil ho sa mga incentives na binibigay rin natin sa iba't ibang mga kumpanya. Tama po ba ang figure na ito, Madam Sponsor, na 441 billion ang nawawala sa kaban ng bayan dahil sa mga incentives na binibigay natin sa mga korporasyon?
Tama po yun, Mr. Speaker. 441 billion po ang forgone.
Pwede po bang mabanggit ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor, dito po sa 441 billion na ito na incentives, ilan po? Ano po ang bahagi ng incentives na ito na naibibigay natin sa malalaking korporasyon? At anong bahagi naman ang naibibigay natin sa mga tinatawag nating medium and small or small-medium enterprise, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Halos po dito sa 441 billion na nawawala po sa atin dahil po sa insentibo, ito po ay sa large corporations.
Large corporations po. Pag sinasabi po nating large corporation, ito po yung mga korporasyon, lokal man o foreign na kumikita po ng 100 million a year, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Tama po yun, Mr. Speaker.
So sila po ang nakikinabang dito sa mga incentives na ito.
Tama po yun, Mr. Speaker.
441 billion.
Opo.
Pwede po bang malinaw ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor, pag ipinasa ba natin ang panukalang batas na ito, ang mga insentibong ito na binibigay natin sa mga large corporations na ito, 441 billion a year, ay mananatili pa ba o aalisin na ito dahil bumaba naman ang kanilang corporate income tax?
Mananatili po ito, ang mga insentibong ito, pero ngayon po ay hindi na po sinasabing may forever yung incentives. Dahil po yung iba dito ay umaabot na po ng 10 taon hanggang 40 taon ang kanilang insentibo. Pero ngayon po ay mayroon na po tayong mga criteria na susundin, katulad po na dapat po ang isang negosyo ay magiging performance-based. At yun na pong binanggit ko, meron na pong time-bound ang incentives. Hindi na po ito forever.
Hindi ho lahat may forever. Yun po ang sinasabi ninyo.
Opo, hindi na po forever.
Pwede po bang larawan ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor? Dito sa figure na 441 billion na incentives na binibigay natin sa mga large corporations, ang sinasabi po ninyo, itong mga incentives na ito ay dahan-dahang aalisin or aalisin na siya dahil walang forever. Pero buo po ba na mawawala ang mga incentives na ito? Lahat ba na korporasyon, na large corporations na ito, pag naisabatas na, halimbawa, itong ating panukalang batas, ay talagang wala nang maiiwang incentive sa kanila? Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Uulitin ko po yung sinabi ko na hindi po mawawala ang insentibo Pero ito po ay may limitasyon na. Time-bound po ito. Hindi na po aabot ng 40 years. Ang gagawin po natin dito ay kada 5 taon ay pwede pong mag-apply ulit ang mga negosyo para po maka-avail ulit ng incentives. Dahil po ngayon, ulitin ko lang po na meron pong nag-a-avail na 10 taon hanggang 40 years. So ulitin ko lang po na hindi po totoo na tatanggalin po natin itong mga incentives na ito basta po sila ay may contribution sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. So, para malinaw po, hindi naman talaga aalisin, no? Lahat. So, ibig sabihin, kahit na ibinaba na natin ang corporate income tax sa loob ng 10 taon, 2% every year, from 30% to 20%, meron pa rin mga insentibong maiiwan dito sa mga tinatawag nating large corporation na sa huling tala ng Department of Finance ay more or less 150 firms lang ito, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Lilinawin ko lang po na dito po sa House Bill 4157, 1% na po per year. Hindi na po 2% for every 2 years.
Okay, 1% per year. Ang ibababa niya kada taon hanggang maging 20% siya.
Hanggang umabot po ng 20%.
So, you mentioned earlier, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, na pag naipasa ito, yung magiging yung iba na nagkaroon ng incentives for 10 years and 40 years, matatapos na ito dahil magiging time-bound na. Pwede ho bang mailinaw for the record, pag sinasabi ho nating time-bound, ilang taon po ang nakikita natin para dito?
Binabanggit ko po kanina na 5 years po ang ating time-bound, pero may tinatawag po tayong transition period na yun pong hindi pa tapos ang incentives, meron po tayong transition period.
May transition period. At dito po sa ating panukalang batas, ilang taon naman din po nakasaad dito ang transition period na yan?
Yun pong nag-i-enjoy ng incentives ng 10 taon pataas. Meron pa po tayong 2 years na transition. Doon naman po sa 5 taon hanggang 10 taon, meron po tayong 3 years na transition. Doon naman po sa 5 taon pababa, meron po tayong transition na 5 years.
Okay, maraming salamat po. At pwede po bang mailahad ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor, Mr. Speaker, kada taon po na 1% ibinaba ng corporate income tax, magkano po ang tinatayang mawawalang koleksyon na tax mula dito sa ating mula sa mga corporate
Ayon po
corporation?
sa Mr. Speaker, ayon po sa datos ng Department of Finance, ang mawawala po sa bawat taon dahil po sa 1% percentage point ay 26 billion.
26 billion. So sa loob po ng 10 taon, ito ay aabot sa 260 billion. Tama po ba yun, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Siguro, hindi po pantay sa 26 billion kada taon. Maybe 260 billion in 10 years. 26 billion times 10 years.
So, roughly 260 billion ang tinatayang mawala sa supposedly makokolekta natin na corporate income tax, no? Dahil binaba nga natin from 30 to 20. Ang sunod ko pong katanungan, Mr. Sponsor, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, saan ho natin babawiin itong 260 billion na ito na supposedly ay kokolektahin natin sa mga korporasyon na ito at sa katayuan po ng ating bansa ngayon na kada taon ay kinukulang ang ating pondo, at nangungutang tayo para punan ang pondo na yan, paano po at saan natin kukunin ang ipupuno natin sa mawawalang 260 billion na yan, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Dahil po, naniniwala po tayo na dahil makakatipid po ang mga negosyante, dahil po binababa natin ang corporate income tax, ay magkaroon po sila ng generation of employment. So doon po tayo babawi naman. Isa lang po yan at saka meron pa rin pong indirect job creation. So doon po natin babawiin yung mawawala.
So, para mabawi ang 260 billion na yan na mawala sa corporate income tax in the next 10 years, ay aasa tayo na merong mga trabaho na ma-generate, and hopefully, aasa uli na pagka naka-generate ng trabaho ang mga kumpanyang ito by additional investments, ay uunlad ang ating ekonomiya. Yun po ba ang gustong sabihin ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor?
Mr. Speaker, doon po natin babawiin yung mawawala po dahil sa pagbaba ng corporate income tax.
So, inaasa po natin na mabawi ito. Wala hong konkretong plano sa kasalukuyan, umaasa lang ho tayo na merong epekto ang pagbaba ng kanilang corporate income tax at makakatulong ito sa ating ekonomiya. Ganun po ba ang ibig sabihin ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Inaasahan din po natin na dahil wala na pong forever ang incentives, ay isa din po doon ang isa sa pamamaraan na mababawi natin ang ating mawawala doon sa pagbaba ng corporate income tax. So ito po ay sa incentives.
Ayun sana yan, no?
At any rate, dito po sa usapin ng incentives, ayon na rin sa datos ng Department of Finance, ay meron ho tayong mga humigit kumulang 133 investment laws and 209 non-investment laws, or a total of 342 special laws na nagbibigay ho ng incentive sa ating iba't ibang mga korporasyon. No? Kasama na rito yung 549 eco zones and free ports. Patungkol po dito ang aking katanungan, sila rin, itong mga korporasyon na ito ay makikinabang din po sa pagbaba ng corporate income tax. Tama po, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Tama po yun, Mr. Speaker, kasi ito po ay para sa lahat po ng corporations.
Okay. So kung sila rin po ay makikinabang doon sa pagbaba ng corporate income tax, napag-aralan na din po ba ng ating sponsor at ng Department of Finance sa loob ng ilang taon kung paano i-rationalize itong nabanggit ko po na mga iba't ibang batas, no, na nagbibigay ng incentive sa mga korporasyong ito?
Ito po ay kasama sa panukala na i-repeal po natin ang mga batas na tinatawag po nating special laws.
Okay. At pag na-repeal po ang mga batas na ito, at sinasabi ninyo, ito po ay napaloob sa panukalang batas na ito, meron sa tinataya po ng Department of Finance at ng kagalang-galang na sponsor, in concrete amount, real amount, magkano po ang aabutin ng kabuoang incentives na maaapektuhan dahil ma-repeal po ang mga special laws na ito, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Yun pong 42 na special laws na ating i-repeal for the next 2 years. Initially po ay 20.4 billion sa susunod na taon.
20.4 billion.
Tama po, Mr. Speaker.
So sa loob ng 2 taon, 20.4 billion, what about in the next years? No? Sa loob po ng, dahil 10 taon ho ang adjustment natin dito sa income tax na ito.
Sa 2020 po yan, sa susunod na taon. Sa 2021 po is 24.5 billion. At sa susunod 2022 ay 76.2 billion.
Kaya ko po naitanong yan, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, dahil nabanggit nyo kanina, sa unang taon pa lamang, no, na ibinaba natin by 1% ang corporate income tax, 26 billion na kaagad ang mawala sa atin.
Tama po yun, Mr. Speaker.
But in the next 2 years, in rationalizing all of these incentives, ang incentives lang ho na mawala sa mga korporasyon ay 20.4 billion. So ibig sabihin, yung sinasabi po natin na pag na-implement natin ang panukalang batas na ito, huwag ho tayong mabahala dahil ito ay revenue neutral, ay lugi nga ho tayo. No? Dahil 26 billion ang nasa bulsa kaagad ng mga korporasyon sa unang taon pa lamang ng implementasyon ng batas na ito. Pero sa pagsusumikap nating i-rationalize naman, dahil sabi ninyo, andito naman din sa batas yan, yung kanilang mga incentives, umaasa tayo na 20.4 billion sa loob ng 2 taon ang mababawi natin. No? So, in the next 2 years, 56 billion yung mawawala sa atin. No? 52 billion. Yet, the incentives na ma-rationalize natin from all of these laws is only 20.4 billion. So, ibig sabihin, sa akin pong pananaw, luging-lugi na naman tayo nito. At pag tayo po, ang gobyerno po ay nalulugi, ang ating pinangangambahan niyan ay babawiin niya ito sa ibang kapamaraanan. At ang babawian na naman po nito ay ang ating mga mamamayang Pilipino. Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, hindi ho sa pananaw ng kinatawang ito, hindi ho natin maiwalay, no? Na itong sitira ngayon ay kabahagi talaga ng buong pakete ng train. Tama din naman po yun. Di ba, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Tama po yan, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Ang unang pakete nito or unang bagon ng train na ito ay ang Train 1 na kung ating matatandaan, ang Train 1 ay nagkaroon din ng adjustments sa personal income tax at nagpataw, on the other hand, ng mga dagdag na buwis through excise taxes sa oil, sa sweetened beverages, at iba pa. Kaya kung yung titimbangin, yung unang bagon na yon, yung Train 1, merong binigay na konting pakinabang sa kaliwang kamay, pero napakalaki naman ng ibinawi nito sa kanang kamay dahil sa mga excise taxes. At katunayan, ang nahirapan talaga sa implementation ng Train 1 ay ang mga ordinaryong mamamayang Pilipino. Pero sa kabilang banda, dahil nagkaroon ng adjustment sa personal income tax, kahit na yung mga mayayaman, no, na nagbabayad din ng personal income tax, ay napakalaki po ng kanilang naging bentahe. Nagkaroon din sila ng malaking savings. No? Hindi lang yung middle class. Kahit na yung mga mayayaman na income taxpayers, halimbawa yung mga may-ari ng malalaking mall at malalaking mga korporasyon, nakinabang din sila sa Train 1. And again, habang talong-talo ang mahihirap na mamayang Pilipino sa Train 1, dito sa Train 2, na gusto nating ipasa ngayon, ang makikinabang muli, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, ay ang mga mayayaman. In the next 10 years, dahil sa halip na taasan ang kanilang corporate income tax dahil sila naman ang may malaking pakinabang sa yaman ng ating bansa, ay binababaan natin ang kanilang corporate income tax. Dagdag na pera na naman yon, dagdag na savings na naman sa kanilang bulsa.
Mr. Speaker, if I may be allowed to
Yes,
respond.
sir.
Mr. Speaker, Sinasabi nga po natin kanina na tayo po ang pinakamataas sa ASEAN in terms of corporate income tax. Ito po yung rason kung bakit po ating binababaan para po magkaroon tayo ng attraction dun sa mga investors. So kung mayayaman man po ang makikinabang dito, ay gusto lang po nating magiging competitive po tayo sa neighboring countries natin. At gusto ko rin pong idagdag na kahit po 20.4 billion lamang ang babawiin natin dun sa incentive, sa unang taon lang po yun. Pero kapag tiningnan po natin hanggang 10 taon, ito po ay aabot ng meron pong 105.7 billion for 2023, 122.6 billion in 2024, 2025, 142.4 billion, 2026, 153.1 billion, so on and so forth. So ibig sabihin po, dun lang po tayo sa unang taon na deficit po tayo.
Thank you, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Yun nga po ang napakadaling sabihin, no? Kailangan ibaba natin ating corporate income tax para po mahikayat ang mga mamumuhunan na pumunta dito sa ating bayan. May tanong ko lang, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Sa inyo po bang pag-aaral, pangunahing dahilan ba kaya maliit ang ating foreign direct investments ay dahil napakataas ng ating corporate income tax o meron pang ibang kadahilanan bakit ang Pilipinas ay hindi attractive sa mga investors other than mataas ang ating corporate income tax as you mentioned. Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, isa lang po yun sa basihan ng mga investors, yung corporate income tax. May iba-iba pa po silang kino-consider. Like for example, peace and order, cost of labor, cost of material. So, isa lang po ito sa kino-consider ng mga investors.
Yes, tama po kayo, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Katunayan, sa isa pong survey na ginawa, no, sa mga korporasyon, ang pangunahin nilang na-cite doon, bakit ang Pilipinas, hindi katulad ng ibang mga kapitbahay nating bansa, ay maliit ang ating FDIs, ang pangunahin pong sinabi nila doon ay korupsyon, no, at hindi corporate income tax. No? So, yun po ang isang kadahilanan na ang atin hong sinasabi, dapat ho pag-aralan natin. No? Ang napakadali po ng sabihin na pag ibinaba na ang corporate income tax sa Pilipinas, papasok na kaagad ang mga foreign direct investments. And sa katunayan, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, ang mga malalaking korporasyon ho sa ating bansa, no? For example, yung 16 of the richest corporations in our country, no? Covering investments in real estates, etc. No? Meron hong isang pag-aaral na ang kanilang effective tax rate of these corporations varied widely from as low as 12.2% to as high only as 25.9%. So, kahit na ang ating taxation ngayon, no, corporate income tax ay nasa 30%, in reality, itong mga korporasyon na ito, no, dahil sa ginagamit nilang mga incentives and others, hindi talaga nagbabayad rin actually ng 30%. No? 12.2% to 25.9%. And worse, itong 16 corporation na ito only pays a combined effective tax rate of 20% on their combined income. No? So, bakit ko po sinasabi ito, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker? Sa katunayan, ang napakaraming korporasyon ngayon, napakaliit na ng binabayad na buwis at gusto pa nating pababaan ang kanilang buwis. No? Pero, dito sa mga nakaraang mga ipinasa nating batas ng pagbubuwis, ang tatamaan kaagad natin ay ang ating mahihirap na mga mamamayang Pilipino dahil lahat na ipinasa nating buwis dito ay pass-on charges. Even the excise taxes, even the taxes that we recently passed on so-called sin taxes on tobacco and alcohol. So, along this line, Madam Sponsor, gusto ko pong maitanong, hindi ho ba na-consider ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor at ng Department of Finance na sa halip na magkaroon ng isang uniform tax rate for large and big corporations ay magkaroon ng ibang tax rate ang ating mga small and medium enterprise? Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, mahirap po administratively kapag iba-iba yung rates natin. Kasi pwede rin pong dadayain na yung malaki ang corporation, pero since mababa ang rate for small or medium, then it is prone to pandaraya. So, siguro, administratively, it's really difficult kapag iba-iba yung rates natin for big corporations and small corporations.
But it can be done, Mr. Sponsor, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
I cannot remember any country that has a different tax rate for medium, small, and big corporations.
I can remember one, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Until 1986, ang Pilipinas po ay merong two-tier corporate tax rate. No? Magkaiba po ang binabayaran ng mga korporasyon until 1986, no, ng mga korporasyon na kumikita lamang ng 100,000 for example, at yung mga korporasyon na kumikita naman ng 700,000 pataas. No? So, at that time, in 1986, there is a 25% tax rate and there is a 35% tax rate for large corporations. No? So, kaya ibinalik ko po ito dahil ang ginawang dahilan ngayon na ipababa ang ating corporate income tax aside from sabi ninyo to encourage foreign direct investments or mga mamumuhunan ay para makinabang rin ang ating MSMEs. No? Pero sa katotohanan, mas talong-talo pa rin dito yung ating MSMEs. No? Kaya naitanong ko po yun. At hindi lang ho ang Pilipinas before ang merong two-tiered income tax rates, corporate income tax rate. For example, even up to now, no? Cambodia, which subjects small companies to a progressive rate of 0 to 20% on net profit, while yung kanilang medium and large companies pays the full 20%. So, merong level, no? Pwedeng zero ang pagbabayaran mo or progressively up to 20%. Pero yung mga medium and large companies, automatic 20% kaagad. Malaysia, which subjects small and medium-sized enterprise to an 18% tax rate for their for those with a capitalization of 6.7 million. And with a balanced tax at a standard 24% tax rate. So, yung 6.7 million mo na first income mo, yun ang isa-subject nila for 18% and the rest 24%. Again, Thailand, which subjects its small companies with paid-in capital of not more than 8.3 million and income not more than 50 million to a progressive tax rate of 0 to 20% on net profit. No? So, ito po ang gusto kong isang ipunto rito, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Bakit po naging uniform ang tax rate na ipinapanukala ninyo. Kung gusto nating matulungan ang ating mga small and medium enterprise, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, sa nabanggit po ni Congressman Zarate, before po meron tayong two-tiered, but that was removed because nga po yung sa Pandaraya. And we will discuss this with the Department of Finance if they will consider. Pero yun pong mga small, medium enterprises, meron po tayong tinatawag na optional standard deduction na pwede nilang i-avail. So, ako'y nagpapasalamat kay Congressman Zarate for that information.
Well, I pointed that out, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Really, kung gusto nating matulungan, no, ang ating mga, kasi isa yan sa naging objective ng panukalang batas na ito, ang ating MSMEs ay gawin natin makatotohanan yung pagtulong sa kanila. Now, kanina naitanong ko rin, this will be the last point of my interpellation. Naitanong ko rin, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, meron bang pag-aaral kung ilang trabaho talaga ang kayang gawin ng mga korporasyong ito na makikinabang sa pagbaba ng corporate income tax in the next 5 years of its implementation or in the next 10 years of its implementation. Dahil sinabi po ninyo, isa sa objective ng panukalang batas na ito, that is why it was even called as Trabaho Bill previously, ay para sa job generation. Meron po bang pag-aaral, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Nakalagay po sa panukalang ito, Mr. Speaker, na after dun po sa year 2025, magre-review po ang Secretary of Finance para po dito sa pagbaba po ng income tax rate. Nakalagay po dito sa panukala.
Thank you, Madam Sponsor. Ang akin pong tanong, in real numbers, ilan pong trabaho ang kaya nating ma-produce or magawa? No? In the first year, for example, na meron tayong ibaba natin at 1%, ang mawawala nakita sa ating kaban ng bayan ay 26 billion. Pero ilang trabaho ang kayang i-produce nito? 1,000 jobs, 2,000 jobs, 3,000 jobs. What about in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 until on the 10th year na 20% na lang ang corporate income tax?
Mr. Speaker, ayon sa computation ng Department of Finance, sa loob po ng 10 taon, it will generate 1.536 jobs.
Million jobs.
Opo, sorry. 1,000,005, to be exact po, is 1,535,800 million jobs in 10 years.
Thank you, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Siguro po, pwedeng humingi na lang ang kinatawang ito, no, ng detalyadong report. No? Saan manggagaling itong 1.5 million jobs na ito? Saang sektor? Anong klaseng trabaho ito? Ito ba ay contractual work, endo work, permanent work? Dahil sa katunayan, habang nag-uusap po tayo ngayon, hindi pa man na-implementa itong Sitira Bill na ito, sa agricultural sector pa lang po, 1.1 million jobs na ang nawala as we speak now. No? So, kung mararapatin po ng ating kagalang-galang ng sponsor, ay bigyan sana ang kinatawang ito ng detalyadong ulat tungkol dyan. In relation to that, no, by the way, sinasabi po ninyo na magkakreate ito ng trabaho. Pero dito po sa ating panukalang batas, Section 312, Structural Adjustment Fund. No? Sa halip po na trabaho ang i-create, sa katunayan, ang kongresong ito at ang gobyerno ay kailangan pa nga maglaan ng 500 million pesos that shall be appropriated annually in the next 5 years, in addition to any adjustment fund appropriated under the budget of the Department of Labor and Employment, quote, to provide targeted cash grants or other support programs to displaced workers of firms that may be affected by the rationalization on fiscal incentives. No? So, ang mangyayari po pala nito sa 5 taon, pagkatapos maipasa ang batas na ito, in the next 5 years, tayo pa po pala, ang taxpayers pa ang gagasta, no, ng 500 million every year para ho doon sa mawalan ng trabaho. So sa halip na magkaroon ng trabaho, ay meron pang trabahong nawawala. No? So hindi ko po rin makita at maintindihan saan nang gagaling yung hugot na ipasa natin ang batas na ito dahil ito ay mag-create ng trabaho at makakatulong sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. Madam Sponsor, Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, dun po sa unang hinihingi ng detalye in the creation of jobs, we will provide. Dun po sa pangalawa na sinasabi po na 500 million, ito po ay tinatawag na contingency fund. So ito po ay nakalaan lamang in case po na kailangan natin.
At any rate, malinaw naman din po ang sinasabi doon, ano, na merong mawawalan ng trabaho. So, whether that's contingent or not, malinaw na ina-anticipate dahil meron ho talaga mawawalan ng trabaho. So, bilang pagtatapos po, maraming salamat sa inyong mga kasagutan sa aking mga katanungan. Ang gusto ko lang pong irehistro bilang pagtatapos, ang panukalang batas po na ito ay sa halip na makakatulong sa ating mga ordinaryong mamamayan. Of course, ang mga mayayaman at malalaking korporasyon ay they will be laughing their way to the bank. Dahil dagdag kita na naman ito, dagdag doon sa tubo nila. Pero at the end of the day, babawiin rin po ito sa ating mahihirap na mamamayan. No? Dahil ang kinuha mo sa kaliwa ay kailangang bawiin mo rin sa kanan. Yun ang nagiging patakaran ngayon. Ano? At the end of the day, sa mga susunod na ipapasang batas rito, para mabawi ang pagkakalugi ng gobyerno, ang mahihirap na naman ang ating tatatamaan. Kaya dapat po talagang busisihin at pag-aralan nating mabuti ang ating mga ipinapasang batas, lalo-lalo na ang batas ng pagbubuwis ng kapulungan ito. Maraming salamat po, Madam Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I assure Congressman Zarate na ito po ay dadaan sa masusing pag-aaral. At hihikayatin ko po ang Department of Finance na ito po ay pag-aralan ng mabuti. Maraming salamat din po.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize Representative Bernadette B.H. Herrera D. of Party List BH for her manifestation.
Congresswoman D is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would just like to manifest some of my concerns with regards to shifting from the gross income earned to corporate income tax. Number one, my first concern is with GIE, the challenge is only to ensure that we are submitting the firms are submitting the correct gross income. But if we use corporate income tax, our concerns are not just the correctness of the gross income tax, but we are also concerned with the correctness of the net taxable income. So this opens opportunity for corruption and possible transfer pricing by global companies with operations in other parts of the region. So I'm really concerned with that one. Parang it's much easier to use the gross income earned. And GIE is much simpler, easier to administer, and DTI and PESA is also recommending this. And if you use the 18% corporate income tax, the effective rate is about 7.5 to 8 GIE. So I would just like to manifest that sana kindly study to use GIE still instead of the corporate income tax. That's the first manifestation, Mr. Speaker.
Well noted, Mr. Speaker.
And then my next is, I also agree that there's no forever in terms of the incentives. But I also feel that the 5 years is too short. So baka naman pwedeng yung transition period can be longer, say 10 years, if that's also a possibility that we can look into.
Mr. Speaker, the 5 years is for those that are already availing of the incentives 5 years and below. Ito pong sinasabi nating 5 years na incentives, this is renewable depending on the criteria nga po that it should be targeted, it should be transparent, it should be performance-based.
Yes, well, speaking of that, I'm just looking into the possibility of making it longer. I would just like to manifest that one. Maybe it's still on the table that we can make it longer. And then my last manifestation, Mr. Speaker, is that I am very much concerned with the veto power assigned to the chairman of the FIRB. It really concerns me because if the chairman has veto power, even if the organization or the board has already decided, then the chairman can just easily veto the decision of the board. So I would like to ensure that there's no such thing in the bill that is being discussed.
Mr. Speaker, just a reaction. I don't think that the chairman of the FIRB will veto if there is no reason behind. So I want to assure Congresswoman Herrera that this was already studied carefully.
Sorry?
About the veto.
Wala na po. Na-delete na siya.
I will just repeat my statement, Mr. Speaker, that I don't think that the chairman of the FIRB will veto without any valid reason. So we cannot... Tatanggalin daw yung veto power.
Mr. Speaker, my concern is that the chairman shouldn't have a veto power because it defeats the purpose of having a collegial body or a board who decides, and then after the board decides, the chairman can just veto whatever decision the board makes. So I'm just manifesting that maybe it's something that we can remove the veto power of the chair of the FIRB.
Mr. Speaker, in the substitute bill, the veto power of the chairman of the FIRB was already deleted.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's all, Mr. Chair. Those are just my 3 points to ensure that maybe we can use the GIE still and then the transition period, and I'm happy that the veto power is no longer there. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move we suspend consideration of House Bill number 4157. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adjourn till Monday, September 2, 2019, 5 p.m.
Any
I so move,
objection?
Mr. Speaker.
Motion is approved. Session is suspended until September 2.
Adjourn.
Adjourn.
Adjourn, Mr. Speaker.
Correction. Session is adjourned until Monday, September 2 for 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Kaya mo na.
True to my word,